And this is what's happening here. This is me saying, no, you're wrong. You're pushing me too hard. I need to be me as an individual. This is how every child feels during puberty, you know? And this is essential in finding your own identity when you're a human. So I get that it's the process. And I told Dan to do one. I quit his mentorship program. I don't think we spoke for like a year. And I did it my way. And that was right at that point. But at the same time, I was still missing someone that would keep pushing me. Because when you try to do it alone, you're never going to be anywhere near as successful as you need to be. Never. You'll probably reach 1% of your potential without an outside influence or mentor, because your brain is always good at tricking yourself. It's always there to tell you that you had a hard day, you better take it easy. Oh, things are hard right now, so no one's expecting you to do very well. Oh, wow, maybe you can't be good at this. There's always something that's placing seeds of doubt and getting you to kind of not try as hard as you could. And so I got to kind of that plateau, and part of me knew. And sometimes it's my heart, it's my gut, it's my soul that pulls Dan back into my reality, because my brain says, no, he's wrong, you know, fuck the old man. But then my brain also tells me the old man is always right. And I always go back to that phrase, the old man is always right, because it's not Dan that's right. It's the version of Brian that knows he can be better. That is the guy that's right. And Dan just embodies that version inside your brain. And a lot of people get it wrong with Dan. They vilify the man. But that man is inside all of us. And we treasure that person. Because when we are high performance people, when we are the lion that grabs that animal in the wild, we feel great about ourselves. We know we're doing something right. We have great self-esteem. We take our nation forward, our company forward, our family forward, and we feel good about ourselves. And so Dan is inside all of us. And this was me feeling this battle with myself and with Dan as well. And so about a year later, I invited Dan back on the show, and he agreed to come on. But as you can imagine, Dan was still, you know, not very impressed with what I was doing. Now, of course, for me at this point, our academy's doing well, we're making money, the set is going on, the show is blowing up. But for Dan, of course, it's not good enough. And this is a clip from that episode with Dan Peña.
When I tell you I'm gonna do something, I fucking mean it. When I tell you I'm gonna fuck you up, I mean it. I ain't just having words flap through my lips, because that's the background I come from. That's just it.
When I was at your birthday, we exchanged words after Gabby gave his speech, and I said, Dan, you're out of line. And you said, Brian, you're too sensitive. And sometimes we exchange emails, and I'm like, why does Dan have to be such a cunt? Why does he have to push it? Why does he have to always want to win?
I'm being just the opposite of a cunt. You're not the all end all shit. Who gives a fuck?
But won't you?
In the cosmos of time, you are not a fart in the wind.
No one is.
Exactly.
Well, won't you always want me to be 1,000 times better? 5
Absolutely.
years from now?
And instead of saying, I learned a lot. Who gives a shit you learned a lot in the last year? Doesn't mean a fucking thing. It's, have you done a lot, not learned a lot? Because I want you to be all you can be. Not some fucking reasonable facsimile.
And that needs money associated with it as well. But you say follow
almost
your passion.
always. Not always, but almost always.
But you say follow my passion, but my passion plus 9 figures is more impressive.
Well, you're copying out that this is your passion, but it's not.
Don't I seem passionate about this?
To the kids, maybe, not to me.
I tell great stories. I bring great people to light.
But so what?
Come on.
But so what? I mean, how materially have these kids' lives on a measurable playing field been bettered?
They met you.
Well, they met me, but have they done anything with that knowledge?
I don't know. Some have.
Oh, you know, a few have been to the castle.
They met you and maybe 20 other people in a big way, as in hundreds and hundreds of thousands of views. Now, you're right. A lot of people didn't do anything, maybe 90%. But, you know.
Maybe 95%.
Maybe 95. But you have affected people.
Oh, yeah, I know that. But guys like me want a measuring stick. 50 billion is, you know, I didn't talk about money for 20 or for 18 and a half years. I created billions 15 years ago. I've got 50 billion in 2 people. 2 fuckers. I've got tens of thousands. So you can just imagine how big the number is. 2 fucking weenies. 29 and 24 billions. And I push these guys. I continue to whip them like dogs. Do you think 29 billions is so fucking, fuck you, and the horse you rode in on? Gee, Dan, is anybody paying any more? I'd like to lie and say, yeah, but I won't lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you.
You know, a lot of people stop me on the streets and say, Brian, what's it like to have Dan Peña call you a cunt? In his full three-piece suit gear with the red pocket square, and to just go right after you like that. And, you know, honestly, it feels good. And I know that sounds a little strange, but what you have to do is read between the lines with Dan. So why is he in my studio for 2.5 hours yelling at the top of his lungs? Because he wants better for me. So in a really weird way, this is his way of showing that he loves me, period. And that's why kids, when their parents discipline them, they fight back, but later they say, Mom, I thank you so much for raising me as a great son, or you know, a dad is a great son or a great daughter, because discipline ultimately, or harsh words, comes from love. Because if Dan didn't give a shit, he wouldn't bother doing that. That's what I see between the lines. Now, at the same time, it doesn't feel good to have Dan come after you like that. But Dan is challenging all of those little narratives I'm telling myself that is forcing me to play small. And let's be clear, I still was playing small back then. And this is Dan saying, I don't care about these weenies that watch you. I don't care about what you think your mission is. You know, you're here for a short period of time, and I see you 1,000 times more. And I mean, that is someone saying that they believe in you. I mean, that's a big deal. And you can see me saying, I say it because you love me, right? And maybe this is some weird search of me for searching for love, you know, that I didn't get when I was a kid as well. There's a lot of weird dynamics going on here, to be really honest. And so, so a lot of people see this and they get triggered by words and things like that. But, you know, you got to read between the lines in life, and very much so with Dan Peña.